Welcome to Diva Dialogue with your host, Deb St.Hilaire. And it's me. I'm feeling really kind of giddy today because there's so much going on, and I was running late to start the show. But I'm really excited because my first biological granddaughter is going to be born this week. And I couldn't be more excited to welcome her into this world. And my son and his future wife, Christine, I'm thinking about you, Mike and Christine, and sending you tons of positive energy and good vibes for little Avery to make her appearance with us soon. I just can't wait to kiss that little face. We're going to be talking about food today. You know, it's one of my favorite subjects, and we have a wonderful woman that I met through another gentleman that has been on the show before. Her name is MARINA TRINER, and she'll be calling in just a moment. But wait just a minute. So, not too long ago, I went on the Singular program to really jumpstart my metabolism. And since then, it sparked me to do more and better things. I'm eating better. I'm moving more. I'm so much more mobile than I used to be, which is a good thing. And the lady that's on my show, Marina, welcome, Marina.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. She's all into foods. We're going to let her introduce herself and talk about what she does before I ask her any questions. So welcome to the show, Maria Yane Triner.
Thank you for having me. So what I do is I have a plant-based blog, soulintheraw.com, and I teach people how to make quick and easy vegan meals that work for them, and that's what I want to talk about today, and just help support them with recipes and health tips and just research-based information.
Excellent. So how long have you been a vegan?
For 5 years, but, it wasn't, from one day to the next. It was definitely a journey, but the journey began 5 years ago.
And what made you decide to choose a vegan lifestyle?
So back then it was actually my mom's story because she was sick and she healed herself through a plant-based diet, actually a raw vegan diet. She was 100% raw. And these days, even though it's a lot about my health too and just seeing all the current research on a plant-based diet and how powerful it is, it's also a lot about the animals and the environment.
So I think one of the biggest misconceptions about being a vegan is that you can't get all your nutrients by eating a plant-based diet. That's not true, is it?
Are you going to ask me the protein question?
I am. I was going to let you ask yourself.
Yeah, that is a big misconception. So the only really vitamin that you should be taking is B12 because that actually doesn't come from animals. It comes from the soil. It comes from bacteria in the soil. But because the soil is really depleted, we don't really get it anymore. So it's important to take it. Other than that, if you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, so not a vegan junk food diet, then most of your nutrients are going to be a lot higher than people who are eating, the standard American diet. And protein, I got to talk about protein because I know that people always ask about protein. And that's a legitimate question because it's always in the media, right? They're always saying, oh, you're protein deficient. protein is not a big deal at all. The World Health Organization actually came out with a statement that we only need like around 8%. So it's very, very low, and there's basically almost nothing you can do to become protein deficient except be starving, of course. You know, if you're only eating white rice all day, then maybe. But other than that, it is really not of concern.
Up.
Oh, did it go? I couldn't hear you well.
Yeah, we lost you there for a second.
Okay.
You were saying there's really no concerns. We heard the 8%.
Yeah, there's no. So I was just saying that there's no concern unless you're, starving, literally starving, or just eating one food like white rice all day. Then protein is not a concern at all on any diet. So that's good news.
It is good news. So, I know your mom. Are you all raw as well?
No, I eat a high raw vegan diet because I think it is a bit stressful to be all raw, especially in our society. And there's also a lot of really healthy cooked foods like beans and grains. So I like to include those, but I eat a lot of raw food.
Ah, okay. It's funny because since you and I last talked, I met a lady that teaches a raw foods class and changed her life by eating raw foods. And it sounded like a story very similar to your mother's.
That is really cool. Yeah, there's so many amazing healing stories with raw food because it's a really healing diet. So anyone that's having any kind of health issue, well, not any kind, but many kinds, it's a really good idea to try it out for a while.
So tell us about your blog and some yummy things that you've made recently.
Yeah, I really wanted to share about just how to make the vegan diet easy because I know that a lot of people struggle and, it's not really available everywhere in restaurants and things like that. So we really have to fend for ourselves. So my whole goal is really to help make it really easy because when I got started, I was a student. I was working 3 jobs, and it was just, I had no time to make food. So all of my recipes are really quick and easy. And one amazing one that I hope you can share with your audience that I just absolutely love and I made recently was a vegan pizza. And the crust is just quinoa and water. And that amazing. I actually got the crust idea from someone else. It's been all over the internet lately, but it's just the most delicious thing, and it's so quick and easy to make.
Huh. Who would have thought? I would have not thought that you could do that.
I know, because there's no yeast, there's no oil, there's no sugar. You just blend it up, and it becomes kind of like a thin crust pizza, and it's so delicious. Every time I make it for friends and family, it's just like, why didn't you make more?
Oh, I'm going to have to try that. That sounds really good. It's making my mouth water. It's lunchtime here.
Yeah, I know. For us, it's morning, so it's not really pizza time. But
So is that like one of your favorite things that you make?
Yeah, there's so many, but definitely smoothie bowls in the morning. I know we talked about them last time. The pizza is amazing because it's so versatile. You can really use all sorts of different toppings. The one I have on my blog is Mexican inspired, so it's spicy and has corn and is just really delicious. There's also chia pudding that I love. Have you ever tried chia pudding?
No, I haven't. That sounds good too.
Yeah, so chia seeds, when you mix them with any kind of liquid, they kind of expand and they make almost like a jelly type of pudding. So I have a recipe for a delicious chia pudding. You can eat that in the morning, and it's so easy to make.
Excellent. So that's what you have for breakfast.
I usually have more smoothie bowls or just fruit.
Okay.
I mean, it's summer, and the fruit is so good.
Yeah, this is my favorite time of year for produce. Do you plant a garden?
You know, we don't have a lot of sunlight, so we kind of have a small garden, but I'm really proud because I kept being really scared to kill the plant. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to try. And it's doing really well. We have figs, we have turmeric, we have a bunch of herbs, and we have tomatoes.
Very good. That's enough, really. That's
not for us. We eat so much produce.
I know, but if you just have that little bit of space, those are good things to have in there.
Yeah, true. Very true. And it's all in pots, well, most of it, because we really want to one day transport it into a bigger space and really grow a lot of stuff.
Nice. Very good. We plant a garden every year, and I kind of change what I plant in it. It's always tomatoes and always peppers, but some years I do eggplant, some years I do cabbage. We have cucumbers this year and horseradish. It's our second year, so we get to harvest that this year. That thing gets huge.
What do you do? So do you only use the root and not the leaves?
Yes.
For the horseradish?
Yes. But you know how when you brush up against tomatoes, how that smells like tomatoes?
Yes.
Well, when you brush up against the horseradish leaves that are gigantic, it smells like horseradish.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. So that's been a new thing.
I love the spicy flavor of that.
Yes. And what else do we have this year that we didn't usually have? I'm trying to think. Eggplant.
Do you have a big space?
It's fairly large. There's enough for like 5 tomatoes, about 5 different peppers, cucumbers. Tons of lettuce. I wish you were close. I would bring you over a great big basket full of lettuce.
Yeah, I love that. We eat that almost every day.
Mm-hmm. And arugula and kale and bok choy. It's so wonderful.
You know, that's the healthiest thing that you can use from your own garden. That's why it's my goal, because all this GMO stuff and just everything that I've been researching lately about GMOs is so crazy that even when you get organic, you can't really know, because they still do spray. You know, I mean, it is better, of course, to get organic, but they still do spray them a little bit. So growing your own stuff is just the best thing you can do.
Yes, and it's fun, too. It always reminds me of my grandpa and grandma, and it helps me get grounded. I love working in the garden. It just, I don't know, it's almost meditative for me, and I'm sure
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because you just have to focus on that and nothing else, and it's nice. And we have a bunch of herbs, too, and my oregano kind of took over. If you have any spots that you want filled up, plant oregano.
But does it need a lot of sun?
It grows anywhere and everywhere. Wow. So you might want to try that.
I do, and actually I recently found out that oregano is one of the highest antioxidant foods in the world.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, especially, when you dry it and you chop it up, then it's even more concentrated. So that's even better.
Wow, and that's good. I would even send you some. I'm not kidding. That's how much I have. But we dry it every year, and sage is another one. I bet you those two don't need that much sun. I bet you could plant both of those.
I'm going to try. And you know what's cool about those herbs like sage is that even if you don't eat meat, you can use sage to kind of like mock meat, because meat doesn't really have a flavor. And the spices are what give it the flavor. So if you just put sage with nuts and seeds, it'll be like a meat pate that you can create, and it's so good.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Same with oregano, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good.
All the different herbs. You just kind of need to know your way around the spices and the herbs.
Right.